I remember when school's computers weren't good at blocking things, the kids would play Happy Wheels on them in the library. Dude, I remember when kids would play in... Dude, I remember when kids would play in my school. Okay, I think it was Kindergarten Killer in Newgrounds. Something like that. I remember being in the 4th grade, and I feel like because of that, because of that game, I never enjoyed stuff like Happy Wheels. Because, or like what was it called? Happy 3 Friends? Because of that game. I remember like in Newgrounds, there was this like a game back in the day where like the entire game was literally you shooting kindergarten kids. And they used to play that in my school when I was like young. Like the kids. Like I was in the 4th grade or something. I'm pretty sure that's why I'm like so reticent to play any content that's like looks cutesy or is meant to be cutesy, and then it's like gory and stuff. I don't like it at all. The only gory thing that I like, sort of, nowadays is Doom, and that's like stretching it, because the only reason I don't feel bad about Doom is because it's literally demons. It's kind of rad to kill demons, so I have no reservations about, you know, curb stomping a demon in, like a demon's head in, but I may or may not have some reservations about, you know, I may have some reservations about stuff like Happy Wheels and like watching like a dad and his kids explode into blood and guts and gore, or something like the kindergarten killing game from Newgrounds from all those years ago. I can understand that the whiplash of seeing cute things getting turned into paste gets me. Yeah. I don't like how much anime is doing it nowadays. I feel like animes are like rely on that a lot nowadays, and I love it. It's okay, but you know, and when animes are doing that, off the top of my head, actually, I can't think of any. I guess Chainsaw Man is one of them, but Chainsaw Man is also very adult oriented. I don't know. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now. But even now, when I'm watching a show like when I used to watch, I haven't seen My Hero Academia until after the Overdrive. Well, I think that was season 3 or something. But even in that show, which doesn't have like much gore at all, even it's like, I don't know. I just don't like watching kids get turned into paste and stuff like that, you know. Or like really young people. I don't know. I still like a lot of those shows, you know. Like I still read the entirety of Chainsaw Man. Are you thinking of it? Oh, Made in Abyss is a good example. Made in Abyss is a really good example. Oh, dude, Elfen Lied was so bad too. Another one is Dead Tube. I know you guys probably haven't read it, and I don't think you should. But stuff like Dead Tube, I've never liked. I read the entirety of Dead Tube just because I've had someone who I know IRL tell me that they enjoy it. And I kind of was like, okay, I wonder what this is about. And let me tell you, it is the most unnecessarily edgy piece of media that I've ever had the displeasure rather, of reading. I think I got that out of my system as a thing already. I think I'm at a point in my life where like I don't want to watch, you know, stuff where like let's see how far I can take this thing or that thing or whatever. You know, I saw like one of the mangas that Mika was reading, and man, there's some crazy stuff out there. What was the manga of that one girl that was an MPT, Mika, that you showed me? I forget which one that was. But I also got told that Made in Abyss is like super depressing and that like the characters go through a lot and whatever and blah 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 blah. You know. I just watch Happy Anime or Isekai Stop these days. Have you watched Demon Slayer? I have. And I'm not gonna lie, at the start of Demon Slayer, when I saw the entire family like bloodied up and dead and whatever, took me a second to like move past that. I know that that's like the impetus behind why Netsuko, and more importantly, what's his name? Tanjiro. I know that though his family dying is the impetus of why Tanjiro turns into a demon slayer and becomes part of the Hashira or whatever, or is trying to like become part of the Hashira. What's the Hashira? Was it that show? But like stuff like that like I'll look at it, like it's fine. But even still to this day, it's still like, you know, it gets me a little bit. So it's like, I don't know. That was a cool way to start the show, give some foundation. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Like it's a perfect time to start the show. It's just, if it's there, I won't mind it. But I don't need to see the, you know, I don't need to see necessarily the visually what happened to empathize with the situation. You know what I mean? Like there are points, for example, when I was watching, what show was it? Elfen Light is a good example of the gore being gratuitous. Like when it's stuff like that, I'm okay. Like I don't need to watch that. I found it's called Zil Baji as the Demon Prince, how the Seven Prince brought down the kingdom. Yeah. Another one that I started reading the other day was like one where, and I dropped it by the way. It was one where it seemed interesting because the concept of it was like, at least from the description on it, it seemed to be like a political drama or something. And when I keep reading, like they just start like cutting the heads off of some of the women and like taking their brains off and whatever. And I'm like, I'm good. What is the manga called? I don't remember right now. I could probably get it, but like I didn't save it on my I use Aniyomi to like read manga, and I recently had to like reinstall it, so I lost like all my entries. I think the only thing I'm reading right now actively is like Chainsaw Man. Whenever a new episode of that comes out. I haven't opened it up in a while. Hey, in fact, the last time I opened up my manga reading thing was when I made the joke, the joke of that cropped scene in Chainsaw Man with Denji and Joru, where they're like cropped down. Chainsaw Man is the only gory anime I like. Yeah, Chainsaw Man, I think what helps Chainsaw Man a lot is how good Mappa is at the big moments. Studio Mappa is insanely good at the big moments. It's also kind of why I didn't mind the gore in Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't have a whole lot of gore. But, for example, like the one scene when Sukuna, spoiler alert, like slices off the heads, like half of the heads of the schoolgirls. Like that's pretty brutal, right? But because it's not happening all the time and it's like just showing you, and it's used as a device to show you like how nonchalant he is, like how evil he is. Because it serves like a purpose, it's okay. But when we get to the point where it's like gore for the sake of having gore, I don't like it. The gore isn't the focus, it's complementary. Exactly. I've never been able to really stomach a whole lot of gore. It's kind of why I don't watch gory movies, like gory real life movies. Like I always look at movies. I always look at the movie ratings, and if they see that they have gore, I then look up if the gore is like gratuitous or if it's just like a little bit. Because if it's a lot, you know, I get turned off by it. I feel like the only movies with gore that I can stomach is maybe like what? Like the Tarantino films? Like those are pretty okay. They feel okay to me. But anything after that? I don't know. I mean, just like Jujutsu Kaisen, by the way, not a gore manga. I like Witch because it does stuff like that. I used to read gore manga for kicks. Yeah, no, I can't. Yeah, I can't read gore manga for kicks. Oh, you used to watch Halloween? What, like the scary movie? No. I've seen one scary movie in my entire life, and I'm gonna keep it like that. The experience was so horrific that I wasn't able to, you know, to watch more ever again. Is this one of the reasons you don't like horror movies? Yes, it is. Have you seen clips of Terrifier? Have you seen clips of Terrifier? Hell no. No, I haven't. It's kind of like Saw 4. Everything after the third was just gore porn. The first two were actually telling a story. To me, it's like, you know what's another movie that's like a good example of that, even though it's technically not horror? I think that movie would be considered suspense and not horror. It would be Final Destination. I've seen like a couple of clips of Final Destination, and it's just like, why do you want to watch this? Like, why do you want to watch people dying? I think there's like a story or something in that in that movie, and apparently there's something along the lines of like, oh yeah, it's like a it's like a family or something, like a lineage that's like destined to die or whatever. That's what I heard. But it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, I feel like there's better stuff to watch, you know. But you know, some people's favorite movie is like Transformers or Marvel movies, and Fast and the Furious. I'm totally not talking about someone that I know IRL who literally told me that his favorite movies of all time are all like the Fast and Furious movies, all the Transformers movies, and all the Marvel movies. So you know what? To each their own. If that's what he enjoys, more power to him, and God bless him. The same demographic that watches Final Destination also enjoy crime and serial killer podcasts. So I mean, do they though? Maybe you're onto something. Now that I think about it, maybe you're onto something. One of my aunts loves the Final Destination movies. And she's very into true crime podcasts and all that type of stuff. And I never thought of it that way. Huh. I think you're onto something there, so, you know? The way they die is so unbelievable and goofy, I just have to see it. I don't know, man. Life is hard enough as it is. You know? I think I'm okay on not watching stuff of people dying for the sake of watching people dying. The math do be mathing. I wonder what that's all about. I think it's good that you don't really like gore. I think a lot of people are too desensitized to it, including me. Yeah. And it's not like, by the way, it's not like I haven't... Like, it's not like I've never seen real life gore, but like... So like, it's not like I know that there's like a big difference versus what you see on the screen and what happens in real life. Like, I have done this fortune of like... You know, especially back in the day on the internet, it was way easier to stumble upon things that you were not supposed to stumble upon. But even then, like, I still think it's like... It's not so much to me... I think the best way I can explain it, it's not so much to me... The fact that they're making something about it, it's the fact that it seems like they're... I don't know. Like, it's almost like they're hyping it up. You know? How long have I been on this level now? I'm not sure. I can fall off again if you want me to. So we can be there for a little bit longer. But also, it's not about it's not about beating the level. It's about how contending with the challenges that the level is throwing at you changes you by the end of your journey, you know? It doesn't matter how many times you fall off the cliff on your Walmart cripple mobile. It's about how you come out on the other side, change of the person, and the skills that you learned from engaging with the content that's in front of you. Okay? And when you contend with it for a long enough period of time, you come out the other side as a winner. Because you learned something. Not because you got to the end, but because you learned something in the process of engaging with the challenge that's in front of you. That's what it's all about, okay? What is this artsy-fartsy bullshit? See, as you can see, W doesn't get it. We'll get it someday. Something a man never challenged through the same river twice. You get it. Do you understand me? It's not about beating the level, it's about the friends we made along the way. Nice job, Jeff, your way through the level. Thank you. Honestly, I wasn't even... I wasn't aware that I was like close to the end. Had I known, maybe I would have locked in for a little while longer. Like a little bit. Had I known, maybe I would have concentrated a little bit more. But hey, you know what? We made it anyways. And when you get to the end of the challenge, you can see yourself popping that one dance from that one yellow gif with that I see on Twitter all the time. This copy of me over here dances so much better than I could ever. It's actually kind of depressing. I'm getting mugged in Roblox right now. It's not about how many times you fall on your Walmart scooter. It's about how many times you come. Exactly. Sure, are you gonna be the JJK sequel? The Jujutsu Kaisen sequel? Probably. I was still mad over how Jujutsu Kaisen ended. I'm still mad. There's so many things... Dude, you know what's the funny part about it? I don't want to go into the whole... It doesn't make sense, you know, bit of it. There's a lot of things in that manga that don't make sense. And I know that I was literally like a day ago talking about it's what you feel from the piece of media, not the details. But Jujutsu Kaisen is a perfect example of how when you when your details are not up to snuff, it can ruin the entire experience. I think it's funnier that it ended how it did because he knows he wrote himself into a corner in his next manga. It's going to be a direct sequel. Like, I mean, I guess I know why he doesn't start a new manga and then have like someone co-write it with him because holy, I'm sorry, but Gigi Akutami cannot be left alone to write another manga because I'm gonna crash out. I still cannot believe that Jujutsu Kaisen ended the way it did. Is having someone else draw it might actually improve their writing? LMAO. I'm black and I can't ball and just be that way. I feel you. Scarlette, when you were being born, I was playing Final Fantasy VII. Damn. How does it feel to be a dinosaur? Damn, how old are you? What are you, like 75 years old? Damn. We love a diverse audience around these parts. Yeah, what's the problem? Solo leveling, having a mid-ending is one thing. The problem in Jujutsu Kaisen is that it didn't have a mid-ending. It was a bad ending. It was like, what was he thinking? Okay. The problem with Jujutsu Kaisen is the fact that the author started to do a lot of complex explanations for things that did not need complex explanations. And because of those complex explanations, he then would try to make it even more complex to justify the bullshit that he was writing from a week-to-week basis. Which in turn made it so every time something would happen in the story, it would just look like it was an ass pull. And that's just how it felt like. It's the epitome, like, I wish I was kidding, but Jujutsu Kaisen, like the later half of Jujutsu Kaisen literally turns into teleports behind you. I win. And I'm not exaggerating. And the problem is that he made so many explanations of so many of the powers in the show that whenever the character that I'm talking about would do the teleports behind you and I wins, instead of doing the back I win, whenever he would do that, we just had to like ignore the fact that we just have to like take it at face value that for whatever reason, even though there's like a very detailed explanation as to why this shouldn't work the way it does, he is just able to ignore that. And he's not the only example of that, by the way. There's other characters that I'm not gonna say who, but there's other characters that die, but the way that they quote unquote die is not the way that you need to kill them. Which is funny. It's very funny. Because this is a character that, you know, at a certain point in the story, was told us that the only way to kill the character was in a very specific way. Otherwise, he can just regenerate and come back, okay? But, again, because of Mr. I still left her behind you, and I win, he's just able to kill him without killing him in the way that you're supposed to kill that character. And it's just constant. It was constant. It got to a point where it was stressful to read. He would do biblical level explanations on like a 15-page week worth of a chapter, and then completely ignore it the moment it wasn't relevant to the story. It's just so, and I couldn't stop reading it because I was like, there's no way I've spent this much time reading this shit for you to tell me that it doesn't matter. And you have a hard magic system and then break it. It doesn't feel very good. The problem is that he didn't have to make a hard magic system. That's the most frustrating part. Because of how curses work in that show, you don't need to have a hard system. You didn't need to. You could have you could have been a lot more ambiguous over a lot of the things that were in the show. But they didn't do that. They decided to make a fucking mess and then completely disregard the walls of text that you would leave on every single fucking page of the manga, to then not even a week would go by and then you would disregard it, and then like that thing that you just explained doesn't matter anymore. It was just like, dude, the entire later half of Jujutsu Kaisen is just that. And I don't know why I feel it's, you know what's the thing? I feel like that manga suffered from a classic case of the author not liking the fact that his fans like stuff that he didn't like. Maybe I'm skittering out. Maybe I'm having an episode, okay? Maybe I'm making it up. Maybe it's all in my head. But I really believe that the reason that show ended the way it did is because Gigi didn't like the characters that the fan base liked, and because of it, he said, fuck it, and I'm gonna ruin all of the characters that you like just because fuck you. It's the first time I've ever felt reading a piece of media where I felt the author actively spiting his fan base. It's just so demoralizing. Because you know what? Because the worst part is, when Jujutsu Kaisen was starting out, and you had people theory crafting about it, and we were and you had people, you know, wondering about where the show could go or in what direction you could take the, you know, the plot of the show, of the manga in this case. Dude, he could have gone to so many cool places. He could have done so much with so many of the characters in that show. People meme a lot on that one meme of not Joji, what's the potential man? Megumi. People say that one meme from Megumi about potential man has hurt a lot of other fan bases, but Megumi deserves it. Megumi deserves it, dude. Holy. I don't think it was nasty, dude, except for a certain character's backstory being essentially entirely irrelevant. I don't think it was malice, except for a certain character's backstory being entirely irrelevant. Can you post that character? Or that just a name? I think it was malice. I think there was like a little bit of hatred in Gigi's heart. If and when, but never is. Megumi, the king of I'm gonna summon something that will kill me every time. I think I'll lose. Dude. Megumi doesn't deserve it. Gigi just said not go to one, but unironically after what he wrote into his own story. So he turned into a Tumblr fanfic writer who was upset that the readers didn't like the characters that he likes, and so he sabotaged them to spite the readers. Dude. Again, I don't know Gigi. I don't know what's in Gigi's heart. I don't know if Gigi truly thought this was the best way to end the manga. I don't know what could have possibly gone through his mind. I don't know how he can have the potential to do something so impressive, and then like, I don't know, it beggars belief. It beggars belief.